Weekly feed. Weekly feed. Weekly feed.
Still here at PJ20, day 2, Alpine Valley, Wisconsin. Kyle Meredith, John Doe, sir.
Hello, sir.
How are you?
Fantastic.
Yeah. Are you holding up as well as the rest of the crowd out there?
Probably better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As we were talking, you've got this nice couch though to rest on.
I was dry yesterday. I had a place I could change clothes.
Yeah.
It's pretty good. Pretty plush.
Eddie Vedder made mention yesterday. He was going through the years of how long everybody's been doing this, and of course you win.
I win.
Yeah.
I win. It's daunting. It's like, holy crap. Really? Okay.
And what was it? Do you remember how many years? Is it?
200.
200 years. It's amazing.
I started in the entertainment business when President Garfield was in office, and we recorded things on stone then. No, it was 34 years, I think.
You know, I was thinking it's really good Garfield has something to his credit. You know, it's like you don't really think much of him, but John Doe.
He got shot. I think that's what he's remembered for, didn't he? I don't know.
He got shot, but he didn't die.
He got shot but didn't die. There you go. Thank you, Holly. Research by Holly. Yeah. It's go ahead.
Right. No. So, any advice for the young upstarts here who are only celebrating 20 years?
They don't need my advice. Pearl Jam does not need my advice. They pretty much got it figured out. They're, got a bazillion fans. We are going with them to South America, which I'm looking forward to. Yeah, in November. And my advice to any young musicians would be don't do it.
Sure.
Because if you should do it, you won't take my advice anyway.
I believe that speech was kind of given last night too. So.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Well, I was standing on the side of the stage, and all I heard was like,
Sure.
West Memphis 3, Chris Cornell.
Let's be honest, it is Eddie Vedder talking, so he's quite known for the mumbling.
Yeah, but I mean, from the side of the stage, you don't hear Jack. You just...
Were you tied in much with the West Memphis 3? Were you a big part of that?
I was on the first benefit CD back in whenever that was, 90.
Right.
La blah.
Right.
I don't know, 94. I don't really remember, but yeah, a friend of mine from Seattle, Danny Bland, he got me involved, and I went to the opening of the movie in L.A., Paradise Lost, and played a couple of songs Exene and I did, and got involved right as the movie was being shown. So, and then there were stops and starts, and there was a second one that Henry Rollins was part of, I believe, and then this last push, which got it over the top. But it basically was just a war of attrition because the judge finally wanted to move on to be a corrupt state senator, and but that's redundant, isn't it? Hey. Anyway, so it's kind of BS because they had to plead guilty, which they weren't. I don't believe, but they were released, and that's I guess the bottom line. So good for them.
Yeah.
And kind of a sad state of affairs for the United States having to have celebrities to get involved in order to find some sort of justice. I mean, it's always been true that rich people in court do better than poor people, and that's part of being in this country. But anyway, it is good that they're out. I'm happy about that.
I think one thing to point out, though, is celebrities can get involved in a lot of things. For a lot of times, it doesn't usually work out. This one just happened. So.
Yeah, and people should take take the victory seriously, and should try to believe in it and build on it if you can, not to feel like things are hopeless, because they're not. And yeah.
Let's talk about the new record, Switching to Brighter Things.
Sure.
Keeper.
Yes.
You got an all-star cast on this one too, right?
Well, that's kind of my thing. Yes, I do, and I'm really lucky, and that's what happens when you don't die or get a horrible drug addict and be a jerk.
Well, you got the jerk part. I mean, that's what everybody knows about John Doe.
That's what I've been working on. Been trying to get my Roseanne Barr self to come out a little more. No.
Caddy today.
It's early. I haven't had my morning shot of whiskey.
So who all is on this one?
Patty Griffin is the biggest star.
Sure.
And we were very lucky that she liked the 2 songs that I sent her, and we were, acquaintances, had been for a while. Jill Sobiel, Cindy Wasserman, who I've played with for a lot. She and I have sung together. She's here today. And then Smokey Hormel plays guitar with, like, Tom Waits and Beck and Johnny Cash, and he was on all the newer Johnny Cash stuff. And Don Was played bass, which is kind of awesome.
Very nice.
And he was so grateful not to have to do any producing. He just kind of played bass, and then he'd sit in a chair and he'd kind of like pull his hat down and have his little dark glasses on, and he'd be going like, "That groove's fat." And like to hear Don Was, Mr. Detroit, that groove's fat.
Self-congratulatory.
Well, it's like, no, but he was just saying, like the song was good, fat, and the, Stuart Johnson, the drummer who I played with for off and on for a while. So it's just good. It doesn't hurt to have a little affirmation as you're trying to piece together something, and you're pretty sure that it's going to work out, but at the same time you never know, and you got to be kind of vigilant, but not try too hard. It's a pretty interesting balance.
I think I read somewhere that this is did you call this a happy contradiction to the last record?
Yeah, kind of a counterpart. Personal life is better. Took me about 2 years to even want to write a song, because I didn't really give a damn about write a song. What? I'm happy. Leave me alone. I'm fine. I've written a lot of other songs. Shut up. Right. And then I sort of realized, well, that's kind of what I do, is write songs. So trying to figure out how to write a song where the character or the song is a little happier, more satisfied, and not make it sound like bread or So.
I want to hear John don't do bread. I really do.
Never. That'll happen. Never.
Right. Well, it's harder to write a happy song. Is that right?
It is. I mean, it's like a poet can just have a little meditation on how beautiful the tree and the sky and the day and the way that they feel, but somehow there's not enough conflict to make a rock song out of that, and when you rely, I mean, the last 3 records have been more about longing and loss and wishing and not being satisfied. When you use that as the well from which you draw, and then suddenly that well is not, it never dries up, but that's a very deep well. However, you don't want to just go to that if that's not where your heart is. So there's an interesting journey to get to the point where you felt like you could write what's going on. Yeah.
I think it's one of the most interesting professions, that any other profession, you do it for so long, it just becomes easier and almost rote. But songwriting, it seems like it never gets easy. It's always.
Well, yeah, that's true. And as you kind of used up, I mean, I think each song should be a little bit of a discovery and adventure and experiment. So the chords you put together, the figure on guitar or whatever, the melody. Each time you do another song, then it's like, okay, well, that you can't do that again. Right. So you have to search for something new, and you keep doing that. But the flip side of that is that you believe you can, and eventually you will. Unless you decide not to.
Yeah.
So, in the 2 years that I wasn't writing, I mean, I was, make notes, and I would write poetry or write, stuff down, and I'd be playing, but I wouldn't be focusing it on sort of a final product or a final, thing. So, hello, darling. So anyway, yeah, it is a little easier in that that it's gonna, you'll eventually get there,
right.
And you're a little more economical in what you have to say and stuff like that. So, Yeah, but it isn't easier in the adventurous part of it, because you've done that. I wrote the lick of Hungry Wolf, so I'm not going to go dun dun diddle dun diddle, and I've used Bo Diddley, so I'm not going to do that. But
you could do it with your mouth. Actually, that would be.
I'm going to do a DJ set this afternoon. All boom boom ba boom 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 ba boom.
Well, we've already got it started back here in the background. Anything on the acting front coming up?
Not really. I've been pretty busy with music, and I just moved away from Southern California, living up in Northern California. You never know. Maybe next year. This year is all taken up with music. There's going to be X Tour, Pearl Jam stuff, and solo stuff with a new record, and I'm going to be on David Letterman, which is kind of exciting, on this Thursday.
What are you doing on there?
The song called Never Enough. But maybe next year I'll move into the David Carradine. They'll do Kill Bill Part 3, and I'll take the part of David Carradine.
Awesome. Well, it sounds like it's going to be a very exciting year. Thanks a ton for talking to us today.
It is my pleasure. Thanks for coming down.
Weekly feed.